But as a way of teasing how that might function and what might end up happening, you are invited to land at Geneva Refinery first, because that way if you die, then you'll be started off at Geneva Refinery. But the goal is by the end of the stream, which is going to be about handover time for Baza's stream, so in about 15 minutes or so, hopefully to have landed safely and securely at Robert Kelly.
I'm guessing there's a catch here.
Yes. Also, if like me you've taken some hull damage, it's a good idea to have that fixed up. The catch for landing at Robert Kelly is the gravity on it is going to be covered. Let me close that window quickly. So the gravity on Robert Kelly is 4.74 G. So that's the catch.
Lovely.
This is where having an analog vertical thrust is a huge advantage.
Yeah, yeah.
I just want to be down there before the Type 9 gets down.
Good luck.
I suspect Taylor will be okay with this because I know that Taylor's done a lot of flight assist off high gravity landing stuff first. So.
Strong G flight assist off, so that's the thing, but it's got a lot more thrust than this ship.
Yeah, yeah. But Strong G's got a lot more gravity as well, so.
Yes, that makes up for it.
This will be fun. I've yet to go planetary with flight assist off.
I think it's easier for me. Like I did a lot of my early flight assist off because I basically learned just by like running missions and docking.
Yeah.
And I felt like flight on a planet was oddly. Don't ask me why.
But on a planet with what was it, 4.7 Gs?
Yeah, no, but I mean, I'd like dock at a planet with like 2 G gravity, like running a mission. Be like, yeah,
so the thing is, with any flying, but also flight assist off no less, when it comes to the gravity of the planet, in terms of the mechanics of how you stay up and how you come down securely, it's no different between them. It's just that the higher the gravity, then the less forgiving it is for making any mistakes.
You end up like thrusting down, and then you're accelerating.
We are in
decelerate.
Ross 905.
Then you're in trouble.
Let me put that into chat as well.
Oops, sorry. Whatever I just said.
And so you can see this big old beastie in front of us here. Now I'm gonna
go right for that ejector crater.
Yeah, I think that's the way. Because the mountains around the craters on Rob Kelly are really nice as well. So the one tip I'm going to give you is the mechanic of how you land on high G planets, or land in G at all. But the higher the G, then the less forgiving it is for making mistakes around it. Keep your nose level with 0 on the attitude indicator, and keep yourself level to that. You want to be perfectly horizontal to the ground, and then you use your up button to keep yourself going up. As long as you're perfectly horizontal to the ground, then your vertical thrusters are guaranteed to give you enough thrust to arrest a fall and bring you into a climb. The higher the G, the longer that takes. If you slip into a fall and you start getting faster and faster, the higher the G, the longer it takes for your thrust to be able to do that. But they're guaranteed to be able to give you enough vertical thrust when you're horizontal to bring you up. Outside of that, you can, if you're on keyboard, you can flutter your, and this also depends on the G of the planet as to how much leniency that you get for this, but you can use your vertical thrust to flutter your vertical output to start letting yourself down slowly, but not letting your sort of speed get too carried away. You can, if you've got granular control, if you're on a HOTAS or something like that, that gives you analog output, then you can use most of your vertical thrust, but not all of it, to find like a good spot of that to start lowering yourself slowly without getting carry away speed downwards. Taylor, is your leaf on the wind technique, is that flight assist on only, or does that work in flight assist off as well?
Leaf on the wind, if you're holding
I'd imagine it would work for keyboard if
That's-
you've only got absolute vertical.
Yeah, I mean, it probably could be. You know, there's different things you can do. Like if you notice, even in my like I posted a video where I was speed bowling at a Jackrock outpost in the Witch Head. When I'm approaching the pad, it's not a huge amount of G's, like a 1G or something, 1.2 G. But I'm pitched down. But you also know, like, I'm riding like a little bit of reverse thrust, and that's slowing me down as I'm slowing down my forward speed. But then I have it angled so that it's giving me an upward component of the thrust to keep me from descending too quickly. So you can do it like that on like a lower G, or if you have like really good thrusters. But yeah, like the falling leaf thing I think it's more of like a flight assist on technique.
So I'm just going to drop a link into the chat, which is Tado's Flight Assist Off Masterclass. No, not Flight Assist Off. Let me start the sentence again. It's Tado's Planetary Landing Masterclass.
Oh yeah.
Which will be we'll treat it as like a homework viewing. If you want to watch that, it will give you a lot of really good information about different techniques for landing on a planet. And you go over both flight assist off and flight assist on, don't you?
Yeah, I forgot about that stream. Yeah, that's the whole stream, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, here goes.
Yeah, it's the whole stream.
Yeah,
And
so
I had my joystick, like the Microsoft thing, joysticks test thing up there, so you can see what I'm doing with my buttons.
and now I figure we've all had enough time, so we'll head towards Robert Kelly. If you have a look, then you can see quite a juicy looking crater on the sunny side of it, and I'm going to aim for there. You are welcome to try and land wherever you want to try and land, and we'll call
I'm
that
going to speedball down the side of the crater
closing
and
of the
then
stream. Relative mouse won't turn off when in Super Cruise. No, relative mouse it's set to whatever you set it as in your controls. So you can turn it off if you go into controls and turn it off. But yeah, like I was saying, I use control plus my WASD keys. Laela was saying that he uses shift to get a similar sort of function, which is if I show you. So
Which
if
one's
I go
that?
to my
Oh,
flight
so we're
rotation,
just landing in the wild on this
yeah.
planet. Yeah.
So there's a nice big crater that's got some mountainous sides around it that are quite fun to have a go at landing, so you get a nice view. But it really, like, at the end of the day, I'm not too worried about trying to get us all to instance in on the same spot and go through that process whilst I'm still trying to like not die on the planet. So yeah, just it's your own conscience to whether or not you lie about whether or not you succeeded landing, basically.
And I'm just
There's no police about
Okay,
it.
good. I'll head for the huge crater.
Yeah.
If you come to my wing signal, brother, you'll be.
So if you see here, I've got my your left is left control E, your right is Q, and I've got that set up for my absolute rotations.
Right. Okay, right, I got the signal. Right.
I don't have anybody. Does anybody have room in wing?
I do. I'll get you base.
So yeah, if you set your keyboard up like that, then you don't have to turn off relative mouse when you're in Super Cruise. But it's unfortunately it's not geared in game to make it convenient for flight assist off users that are using keyboard and mouse when it comes to navigating between Super Cruise.
Yeah, you're in ROS 903. We're in ROS 905.
Oh, whoops.
And so I'm just I'm using the, I guess, like we talked about the falling leaf technique, that's kind of what I'm using with speed bowling here. I'm just keeping my vertical thrust constant and adjusting my vertical speed with pitch. So pitch down gives me less vertical component of my thrust and slows me down.
Yeah.
Speeds up my descent rate because less thrust is keeping me up. And then when I go level, I slowly start to decelerate in the vertical direction.
And full disclosure, I have landed here before in my racing Viper. I have not tried landing here in my DBX before, so we'll see how this goes.
Alright, let's do a little J turn if I can get myself climbing.
I'm going to try and aim for the ridge of the
Good
crater.
thrusters, so.
Yeah, in theory. Nice.
This thing takes like 4 or 5 boosts to get it climbing. So I have to be very kind of careful of it. And then I can turn.
This has got to be easier than those sidewinders.
It's not. flip around.
Oh, my voice connection on Discord is being a bit stuttery. That's why people have been dropping in and out.
Asistente de vuelo desactivado.
Right, so I tend to come in at ridiculously steep angles when I'm doing planetary landings, but for planets of this higher gravity, I would tend to recommend coming in at shallower angles, because the more that your speed is going at a level already, the easier it will be to bring that into control.
I seem to be plummeting to the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to be thrusting up and
Use-
keep your ship level.
Yeah.
Nope.
No, there we go. So you'll see that as soon as my ship's coming out of glide, I'm applying reverse thrust and vertical thrust at the same time. The reverse thrust is bringing my speed. This is going to be such carry away speed so quickly. Is bringing my overall speed down rapidly, so that I'm pretty much just got vertical speed. I don't have forward or reverse or sideways speed. No lateral, no forward speed. Any extra speed that I have going into my lateral direction or my forward or reverse direction means that it's less open speed, open space that I have in my sort of pool of speed to control my descent. The more that you're going in a direction, the harder it is to change your vector. So I want my only vector really to be downwards, and I'm just trying to sort of navigate my I'm going.
Yeah, same. I'm going down now at about 45 meters per second, so I'm
Yeah.
just kind of taking it easy, because this thing, if you let it accelerate, it takes quite a bit of altitude to get it to stop accelerating.
Yeah. And you'll see that what I'm doing is I'm using the stardust. As I go down, you can see the direction the stardust is going in is telling me my lateral speed. I'm trying to get that so that it's just going vertically from the bottom to the top, because then that means that I'm not going left or right. And if you look at my speed indicator, you'll see if I go forward slightly, then it swaps direction. When I have it so that it's coming from the bottom towards the top for my speed indicator, that means I'm going very slightly forwards. When it's going from the top down to the bottom on my speed indicator, there we go, like that, then it means I'm going very slightly backwards. So I'm just trying to modulate that to keep it just as close as possible to the vertical.
Right. And like for me, like I'm doing like 41, but that's 41 mostly going down. Like your speed indication in flight assist off is like the total speed in whatever direction you're drifting, whatever direction your ship's moving, regardless of your ship's facing. Another thing to notice, we kind of did a little testing, was when you're landing flight assist off at a station, it doesn't matter if you have rotational correction on or off with flight assist off, because it makes no difference, because you're always, if you want to test it, go in and hover above your landing pad with flight assist on, and then turn it off, and your speed should jump up to about like 22 meters per second.
Yeah.
And you'll still be sitting, not moving relative to the pad.
Yeah, rotational correction is a function of the flight computer. So if you don't
Right.
have your flight computer on, then rotational correction makes no matter.
I've just said, people say, oh, you do landing, turn rotational correction off and flight assist off. I'm like, well, that's redundant.
Yeah.
And we just proved it. So I'm just slowly coming down. I got about 700 more meters to go.
Boost? Okay.
Mm.
unsuitable terrain, okay.
Uh-oh.
Hey.
Ooh, unsuitable terrain.
That's
Okay, now we're
a lot
touchdown.
today.
That was fine. Shields
Okay,
90%, so probably went down to like 80% at the worst. So yeah, I'm landed.
Nice.
I'm about to be.
Stars at the
Just
other
taking
at that big crater. Yeah, welcome in, Star.
I'm dead.
You're dead. Okay.
Hi, Dad. I'm dead.
Get out.
Oi!
Get out.
And then
As
the
you
most
feel,
efficient
Hunter's
way
following
to
me
take
very well,
off
too.
in flight assist off, or I assume it's probably the same in flight assist on, but just go straight up.
Gotta find a spot
And
that will
then
fit
if you want to go up faster and you've got the space in front of you, just boost and keep on the vertical thrust as well, and that will bleed extra thrust into your vertical thrusters. Something to look out for. We've tapped into laser stream time, so I'm probably just going to demonstrate this quickly as much as I can. If I can, we'll see. I should be able to. Something to look out for in flight assist off, which is something that won't happen in assisted flight, is what I call overspeed. So if I fast enough, yeah, okay. Now we're overspeed. So you'll see that I'm applying reverse thrust, and nothing I do will slow me down.
Well, I'm landed.
I have to use my vertical thrust and my boost to change my vector, because otherwise I don't have enough thruster to actually do it, because I'm so fast over my speed limit. This is going a lot faster than I expected to with the acceleration. Actually, I'm almost at 1,000 already. Sorry this looks like porridge, it's because my graphics settings are so low to make sure that I'm not getting any interruptions from streaming. When I'm not streaming, it looks nicer, but anyway, so now that I'm going at 1250, 1260, let's see if I can get myself out of it.
I gotta highlight that one. That's the best landing ever.
Yeah? But you're down, that's the main thing.
Yeah. I kind of was going down a bit too fast, hit the ground, flipped upside down, and flipped it back over again and landed.
That's typically how it works. Alright, here, I'm gonna land in front of you, brother. I didn't realize you were so close.
But yeah, so when you get yourself overspeed like this, my reverse thrust makes no matter. Forward thrust makes no matter, like nothing is going to slow down my speed using my standard thrusters. What you have to do is bring your vector above 0 on the attitude, so that you're moving upwards as opposed to moving down. If I can get myself to there, the quickest way to do it, if you've got the space in front of you, is to hold on the vertical thrust and just boost, and use the strength of your boosters. And you'll see that my vector, you'll see that my speed is now starting to slow down. And that's because my vector is above the horizon line.
There we go. Now I'm upside down.
Star
So I can
died.
actually hold this. I can actually hold this up.
So let me just catch up
if I
on
have
chat.
enough thrust.
I finally bought
barely have
an
enough
Anaconda this
thrust.
week, as well as a Type 9 fitted for core mine. Nice. Anaconda's so fun.
Actually, I don't
Looks
think
good
I
to
have enough
me.
thrust upside
Mine
down.
looks like the TIE Fighter versus X-Men, the old 90s one, need a new graphics card. Yeah. It's always, I think, you know, it would always be nice to have a bigger, stronger, better graphics card until you've got the best one going. But it's not an option for me at the moment, so.
There we go. Landing gear
And then
upside
they'll
down.
release another one anyway, so it's, you know. Thanks for the follow, Jason.
Sure, thanks. Sure.
Baze, what stage are you in terms of your stream?
How is the readiness?
He is on the timer. Okay. Okay, can you give me a message just say in chat when he's off the timer, and then I'll chuck a raid his way. So Baze has been on stream with us in chat, and I'm gonna finish the lesson now, such as it was for this last little bit. It's been a bit of a weird one, partly for the problems of so many NPCs and the installations, which I couldn't really predict until we got to the point where it was happening to us. And also because it's been a lot more freeform than the previous lessons, where it's been less sort of specific. Fuck it, I'm just gonna get back to the station the fast way. it's going to take me ages to try and arrest myself out of the fall and actually start to get some height again. So we'll just use the fast travel.
Yes, fast travel mechanic. Brother, you want to see a good fast travel mechanic?
Oh, that's convenient style.